Hi, Romain. How are you?
Good, and you?
Welcome. Very good. Thank you very much indeed. So, Romain Chatellier, vertical team leader at Honeywell based in France. You're from Paris, right?
Yes.
But are you really from Paris? You're living, but you're also from Paris.
Yes, I'm born abroad, but I grew up in Paris, yes.
Okay, so you're one of those. I mean, you're probably a unique person, right? I mean, one of those in Paris who has been living in Paris for a long time. So, hey, artificial intelligence, Romain, this is something that has been catching my attention because we've been talking about retail in many of our podcasts, myself, my colleagues, we've been talking about omnichannel. We've been talking about the way that the retail business is challenged at this time, but I don't think we have ever touched the artificial intelligence. Everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. I'm not sure everybody's implementing artificial intelligence, but certainly if I read some of the numbers in the market, and this is what some of my colleagues would call a Paco fact, I read that the growth of the investment in artificial intelligence by the retailers worldwide is growing around 30%. So it's going to be reaching $30 billion by 2028. And I don't think we have ever been, probably looking at this side of the retail business. So we're going to be exploring that. But you're an expert in retail. So before we go to explore what is happening, why don't we take a look in what is the actual situation, because there are some good and some bad things happening in the retail in this moment, right?
Absolutely.
So what is happening? Tell us.
So I guess we can say that at least for Europe, we had some difficult times, especially in during the pandemic and in 2023. We had to overcome the inflations, the energetic crisis, and so on. So the brands had to adapt themselves, and they had to make some strong choice, and it has been not easy for them. So it's but if we take a look about the overall market, I think that in 2024 we can have some on a worldwide scale. The retail has a good growth. I think they are growing about 13%. So it's quite interesting. But we have to say that the main part of the growth will be coming from US, India, or Middle East, but it's still not so easy for Europe. But the good things is that we have some new tools and new technology to recover the.
You're absolutely right. I mean, there are of course good. There is a good future, in many of the areas of the retail, But you mentioned before when we were talking about or discussing a little bit about the retail, especially in France. You're an expert also in that market, which is the core of the retail. The modern distribution, of course, in Europe. But you were mentioning that some of the big brands are also suffering, And to be honest, I have never seen that before. I've seen some big brands falling down. But in this moment seems to be a kind of trend, the big distribution is suffering in France and so all over Europe, right? So is it the first time that we see that massive, movement or?
I guess it's not the first time. I don't have so many expertise to compare to 20 years ago and so on. But if we take a look about the actuality right now, I don't know if you can mention names, but we are speaking now about Casino Group or lots of fashion brands are experiencing difficulties. Some of them fall down already, like Camayo or some other ones.
Yeah.
So it's true that we are living difficult times right now.
And it's about the competition for Far East, or is because the companies are not really adapting to the new consumer behavior?
I think it's not black or white. It's a bit of everything. The context is the environment is difficult, not only for France but for lots of countries in Europe. They need to reinvent themselves. We need to find the new business model. I think we are about to live a kind of revolution in the retail business. And it's true that we are having some very strong competition from Asia or from other countries, and we need to to find out how we can overcome this.
Yeah, but you also mentioned before that to face this competition, right? The European Union and very specifically France itself is putting in place some measures, to control things, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder, we are talking about asking for a specific ethical rules or a certain ethical behavior behind the production, behind the trading, etc. It can also be security, it can also be environmental. But I wonder, is that because there is a real aim to do that, or is that a way to protect a market which is otherwise not competitive versus those brands? What do you think?
I guess it's both, frankly speaking. I think we are starting to be protective. We think we already had a lot of protective initiative, but compared to some countries like US and so on, I think they are far more protective than us. And I think that it's a good thing to go through our targets for ethical targets,
ethical
behavior, or green targets and so on. So for one of the good example for this business is a car business. We want to control the carbon consumptions for the productions, and I think it's good for the business, but it's also good and most importantly good for the humanity. So
I think all the consumers, and this is something that we can see, without having to make any podcast. Of course, the consumer is changing behavior because the new generations, the Z generations, etc. They are demanding things that the older generations are not demanding, right? So I'm not sure if it's really a demand, but it's a certain sensitivity behind. That's for sure, right? And the question is that I wonder if this all means a change of model, right? Because as you mentioned, some of the big change, especially in France, they are having some troubles. Some of the traditional names, Camailleux, you mentioned, they are simply disappearing, and however, there are other brands which are surviving and are being pushed, right? So I wonder, is that a change of model, and then who those brands who are not changing the model are disappearing, and the ones who are changing are surviving? It's as simple as that. Is there a new model behind?
Yeah, I guess we are going into a new model, and hopefully, from your first remark, I hope that not only the young are changing themselves. I think the older one are realizing that we have to react and to change our behavior, and so when you can, because it has a cost. So when you can, lots of people are getting more and more focus on these kind of things, and previously they were not looking at it. So I think we can improve not only the productions, but the supply chain, every aspect of the retail, from the productions to the store. We can be more ethical and being more, and it's not bad for the business. It can be a good thing to improve the productivity, to improve the all those aspects.
That's a good part. One of the now that you touch the ethical part, I think that's a key element, of course, and you can see that ethical part from many different sides. But I think one of them is really the I don't know how to explain this in English perfectly, right? But I think it's the growth of an emerging market, which is the second-hand market.
Yeah.
And your point of view before, when we were discussing, what is the view around this point is, this is, of course, being a menace, a menace for the main brands, but some of them are also adopting or getting closer to this market as a business opportunity. Correct?
Yeah, correct. It's completely so we spoke about Kiabi, for example, who was able to manage the second-hand market. So it's important to keep the customer in the loop of the brand, and not giving them or to the Vinted or applications that are very good, by the way, but that are specializing in this market. And it's very important because you can control the first and the second-hand market, and then resell some first-hand market, and you keep them in your environment. You keep your customer loyal, and you can have an ethical. You can communicate on it as well, and you can sometimes recycle or more products. We spoke about Decathlon as well, and it's. I think it's a win-win situation. And you can do that by using all the new tools that we have today, the new technological tools. So
you mentioned Decathlon. I was really surprised on the example. The place where I live, there is a Decathlon. Then I saw there is a second-hand market. I think it's for a month every year, something like that.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was like surprised. I say, why are you interested in promoting second-hand trading among people there? And then suddenly. And not suddenly, but very fast, you come to the conclusion that they are really making use of a great business opportunity because the second-hand market is existing. It's happening just side to your shop. And what they are doing is that, as you said, they are creating the ecosystem to become the connection point to trade not only with first-hand product, but also with second-hand. And as a consequence of that, they are most probably, I don't know, but I guess they are also increasing the traffic to the shop and the knowledge and also the ethical image of the company because they are selling also that, right?
Yeah, they are selling, they are increasing the traffic, it's very important. So the loyalty to keep a customer loyal, I think it's completely key because we know that we won't do double-digit growth on the retail market and so on. So it's very important to be able to control that. And it's important for the brand image as well, because even the ones who are not buying secondhand, they will give back the products because they will think, and it will be true, that it will be recycled, reused, and so on. So it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Are you sure on that? Because I wonder in that case, Romain, we live from the sale of scanners, terminals, all this hardware around. Not only the hardware, but we live out of that. If I see all these companies selling, online, if I see all these companies selling, second-hand products, not in brick and mortar shops, but let's say outside the traditional channels, where the hell are we going to be selling scanners? Where the hell are we going to be selling terminals?
I'm sure that we will sell more and more. We are on a growing business because the needs for even for the e-commerce, they will need for a new warehouse. We spoke about Vinted. They are building big warehouse right now. And the need for mobility, in-store mobility is growing. We can see that the future store will maybe change. We'll maybe speak about that later. And the one-to-one experience, the mobile payments, all those things are increasing. And so the install base for the brands will be doubled or tripled by within a few years.
Okay, so basically there is an opportunity. The market is not, let's say, going down or shrinking, but there is a movement from the front cash to the logistics and supply chain.
Yeah, and we can contribute to these ethical things and to give a better customer experience to the brands.
Well, certainly we are also simply, let's say, closing the circle, right, of this market. So let's also talk a little bit about something that you have touched before. The ethical business, right? And ethics is, and when we talk about, and we will come very very soon also to the artificial intelligence. But when we talk about ethics, I think that's also one of the biggest challenges also in the market, right? Again, as artificial intelligence, I'm not sure everybody's using a certain ethical strategy behind their strategy, but certainly everybody's talking and speaking about that, So there's a complete trend, and we see a lot of good examples of new companies entering in, I'm not going to say new market niches, but taking a good ownership of certain market niches using ethics as the main messages, right?
Yeah. So I'm thinking about brands like Patagonia. It's I think they found initially it was a niche market, but now it's expanding more and more, and we can see more and more people wearing this kind of clothes because they are using recycled cottons. They are controlling the productions. So most is still sometimes produced in China and so on, but the ethical part of the production is really important for them and for the one who are buying this kind of clothes. we are seeing more and more brands going into this market segment.
Yep.
And that's a way to differentiate, because we spoke about all those brands who are closing and collapsing because more or less sometimes they are selling the same kind of products, and it's a way to differentiate and to show that we are taking in account all the green aspects that are important for all of us.
Is the image behind the product, is the image behind the brand, which is absolutely. And I think if you keep up selling the same thing to different behaviors, to different consumers, I think you might be doing something, not always, but most of the times you're doing something wrong. If I try to start, let's say, merging those concepts and then focusing much more now into the artificial intelligence, which is a real opportunity, for many retailers. If I combine ethics and AI, I come to new apps which are being, let's say, developed, to control better the waste of food.
Yeah.
For example, in big names like Auchan, right? What can you tell us about that?
I can tell you that we are foreseeing lots of new applications on the market that are leading the trend, I would say, of before dates or use dates products.
Yep.
And that's really key, because again, it's a win-win situation. You can avoid, first of all, you can avoid to throw lots of goods.
Yeah.
To throw them away.
Especially food, when we are talking about food, that's a critical thing.
When we know that not everybody is able to eat correctly, it's very, very important.
Yeah.
And so you can, thanks to AI, you can build up new promotions.
Yep.
You can target products very easily. You can sell them before they are used, and even if you think you can also give them and not sending them away. So it's very important now.
So what you mean is that these brands, for example, they are building apps where me as a consumer can automatically see in my app what kind of food is going to be, let's say, I don't know, out of consumption time tomorrow. And because I am sensitive to that, I might be the one to go to buy there actively, or you are meaning that proactively the brand is also, let's say, pushing me with a discount or something like that?
On both sides. So you can decide, and there are apps where you can build your own basket and go and buy it, and for a very cheap price, having some good products for a very cheap price. And in store, you can build some, you can do some very quick promotions and improve your business thanks to AI.
Okay.
And to these applications for sure. AI is nothing without the application.
So it's great to see how ethics, are really impacting the business. I think there is a complete different ethical behavior on consumers, and you have mentioned a couple examples, and you also have, let's say, see how artificial intelligence is helping into that side. But every company is meaning to be creative or creative, talking about creativity and innovation. Everybody wants to be innovative, but those are big words. So how is artificial intelligence helping the companies to be innovative?
So that's a good question.
What should I say? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's a good question, but I think we are about to. The companies, they need to rethink completely their strategy in retail, and it's not just words. They need to rethink the experience on both sides, on the customer side, on the shop floor, on the supply chain side, on the how they can at the end improve their P&L, and AI will have a great impact for to achieve that. So because when we speak about AI today, it's more about customer service, generative AI, and so on. So everybody, almost everybody is using this kind of tools now. But using let's think about having a kind of ChatGPT specialize in supply chain,
Yeah.
that the impact would be huge within a few years, because data analytics, predictive data analytics are really key now, and using AI to improve these data can have a great impact. So most of the brands that we are working with now are working on the worldwide scale.
Yeah.
And it's not the same. You don't offer the same products in Dubai, in Paris, in Madrid, or in US and so on.
Correct.
And you have to take into account your customer, the METO, and on top of that, now if you want to be attractive and to continue to drive your customers into your stores, you need to be able to change your offer within generally about after 2 or 3 weeks. You are it's a kind of perpetual rollout of products in the stores.
It's a very good point, Romain, because I mean we are always talking about artificial intelligence, when we are talking about data for the consumer. So to get closer to the consumers, we have seen some examples. But you are also mentioning that it's also very important to increase the efficiency behind the cash, right?
Yeah.
We also, you mentioned that, hey, there is a new, for example, market on the second hand, and then we say, okay, hey, the market there, you will not be maybe selling the post for the front cash, but the market is going to be in the back side, in the back office, because the logistics, supply chain, etc. I think loyalty is one of those points that we can be touching later on, but also the training of the employees can also be a good opportunity. They can get trained faster, more efficient, and they can be knowing much more about the customer they have in front of them right in the moment that the purchase is done, right?
Completely. And it's very crucial, it's very important. I think AI, I think we have to see it as a tool to expand the business and to create more opportunities, to create jobs. First thought is it will destroy jobs and so on. I'm not sure at all. I think it can create new opportunities, and it's the purpose or the goal of it is to improve the customer experience, to have a value added with your sellers, to have one-to-one experience, to recognize him directly with the loyalty, for example, to know him as soon as he enters in your store. You know your customer, you know what you have to do. And when he goes out, he's happy about his experience. It's seamless, it's smooth, and with the NFC payment and so on, we can really use AI, all those technology and it's good for our business at the end, because we will need more devices, more solutions to cover this one-to-one experience that customer with.
I like very much what you said before. We were talking about artificial intelligence. You just touched the point about losing jobs. Yes, no, this is a big discussion, of course, and every single revolution historically has been having the same discussion, right?
Yeah.
But I like your point. When I was talking to you before about the way that we are using artificial intelligence in marketing, and I told you, hey, I'm scared a little bit that, people who is not creative, now with ChatGPT and the others, they can be creative, So I see a big danger. And then your answer was fantastic. It's like, well, imagine a trained marketing person using artificial intelligence, then he can do 10 times better. So there is always a place for the human being behind. And it's just simply being closer, being more trained and better trained to serve the customers. And you just spot it. At the end is the customer experience, which is going to be, let's say, describing, the result of the strategy.
And, right? it will highlight the value of the physical stores, and it will improve as well the e-commerce experience, because using AI in e-commerce and augmented reality are key as well. It's a full it's a 360.
What you said that I think is critical. I think you just spotted something which is very important. We've been talking about in many podcasts and many videos, about omnichannel and how all these services are added. You just said that all this is going to be enhancing the importance of the brick and mortar shop.
Yeah.
So they are not going to be disappearing. They are not going to be replaced. They are going to be enhanced if you are able to put the right tools, and artificial intelligence is going to be helping you to put the right tools.
Completely. And I think discussing with some CIO in our jobs, that we are speaking about omnichannels maybe for 10 years minimum, but it's only becoming a reality now, because until now all the brands are still managing lots of different channels.
Yeah.
They are trying they have several channels, so it's omnichannels in one way, but they want the purpose of the goal of omnichannel is to manage all the channels through one channel, and it's only happening now. So it's very important, and I think it's gonna enhance the retail business, and it's very good.
Talking about customer experience, especially in retail, we are seeing that, and ourselves probably also too, we are following also the rating that we are giving to our experiences in the shop, in a hotel, in a restaurant, etc. No? I have a feeling that this is not going to be trustable any longer, because artificial intelligence is really impacting in campaigns which are directed to create an image artificially, right? So we can go to a restaurant, and I can create within seconds, a campaign with 100 people who has been there or who has not been there, but can give an opinion on that. So I think we are going to be seeing also a kind of less trust movement, or a movement of less trust into this social media. And I don't know how you see that, but probably if we are talking about the restaurant in the corner, it doesn't make a big difference. But we are talking about the big brands. They are going to be impacted by this, positive or negative impact, So there is always a double side.
For sure.
Maybe onto negative.
No, but maybe they will use, in the meantime, they will use the same tools to control this. And I don't have the exact answer. I'm not sure about the answer on that one, but because it's a risk, it's true. But I think we will be able to. It's when we have an emerging tools and our market, we always have this kind of discrepancies and so on. But I think we should be. I hope they will be able to manage it. I think they will be able to manage.
I don't have an answer neither myself.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like 10 years ago, we start to rate things, and then you need to be there to rate. And if it was false, it was very clearly false, right? I have my question, though, in this moment. We see it in the politics, etc. So let's see. It's going to be interesting to see how this is developing for the future.
Yeah.
You also touch on augmented reality. Augmented reality has been there for many years, but I think it's also becoming now a real tool that is being used in retail.
Yes, it's. I think it's. We are already seeing it, especially on the website of the brands or on the e-commerce sites. For example, I was about to buy some sneakers last week, and it was an product sneakers that are not product anymore, and I was about to leave and to say, okay, it's okay. I will wait a few weeks and find something else. But I think AR was able to propose me some similar products with other colors and so on. And at the end, I finished my basket, and I paid for it. So I guess AR can be a good tool to leverage some business and to avoid people not to finish to buy simply. And in the retail, we can have some new experiences. We can see we are starting to see some screens where you can start to wear some even if it's not in stock, you can see how it fits on you without wearing the clothes. And
we have intelligent mirrors in our offer, so we do it. Not for your brand, because you don't manufacture those ones, but in the Blue Star, let's say, range, we have intelligent mirrors too. So that's quite interesting, in fact. Hey, I think at the end, all this management of data really brings some better knowledge of what the customer wants, right?
Yeah.
There is a part which is very interesting. You mentioned that the customers are not the same in Dubai or in Paris or in Germany, right? So you can now get closer. But I think this movement of getting closer is even much granular, right? It goes to your personal needs, behavior, etc. And that all is impacting in the loyalty programs, correct?
Yeah, completely. That's very important. loyalty program the forecast of the increase of loyalty program is crazy. I think it's about 400% within 5 years or something like that. So that's really critical, and being able to use data analytics, AI, and so on to improve the loyalty program is a very, very strong tool to keep, first of all, to keep your customer loyal. To be able to offer him or her a very focused offer. And you don't lose time, because all these emails that you never read in your inbox and so on, that are offering a full catalog, doesn't make sense anymore. If you have some very focused offer, you will take a look at it, and you will probably think about this brand at least, and maybe buy more products from the brand who is proposing them to you.
That's one of those impact that I was not really expecting, but obviously is a logical consequence of the implementation of artificial intelligence there. So I think we have been touching almost every single part of that. At the end is all the way that we manage the data, the way that we capture the data. But there is still something I really don't refrain me to ask you. I mean, you work for Honeywell. How is Honeywell facing, at least from the retail part? How is Honeywell facing all these challenges? How is proposing? What is proposing Honeywell? How is monitoring? How is advising eventually? The big names, the big end users. Into this movement, into this change.
So it's a good question again.
It's an interesting question, because the better you solve that, the more business we have together, and the bigger opportunity we give to our partners.
Exactly, and I think I don't think I see it happening right now. I think I already said it, but this move is starting right now, and for example, we didn't touch that, but I think as discussing again with marketing or CIO and so on, they think that the future store, maybe we are not even sure if they will still have a POS system. I think they will still keep some POS system, but not as before with a full checkout, taking a few square meters on top, and they will everybody will need some device for first of all for the inventory. We still have needs for inventory. We'll use the new technologies. We will mix RFID and barcode. So it's again, we are speaking about RFID for a long time, but it's happening now, especially in the US, correct. And it's coming,
especially in the food market.
Yes, exactly. And this one-to-one experience is the trend that you are forcing now is we are mutualizing more and more usage on the devices. And Honeywell is the one able to propose a smart device with a very nice design, able to cover all the needs, payments, scanning, RFID, NFC, and push-to-talk, VoIP, and so on, with a very effective, with a very competitive offer, I would say, not only in terms of price, but especially in terms of performances.
Correct.
And we are still working a lot on R&D. We have some Swift decoder developments. We have new technologies around scanning and so on. So I think we are now leading the innovation for the retail business.
Okay, that's very good for our partners, of course, because I mean, then the business is there. When we talk about artificial intelligence, there's always a question about, hey, what is going to happen with the paper? What is going to happen with the employment? What is going to happen to this? What is going to happen to that? Well, some things are going to be disappearing. Some other new areas are going to be appearing. So at the end, there is an opportunity, and then we need to be prepared to answer those needs and to, at the end, to provide a better service.
Yes, and on top, we are providing some performance management tools.
Correct.
That are supporting, helping the partners and at the end customer to improve the efficiency of those devices.
Excellent. Okay, so Romain, it's been very interesting. We've been touching different parts. Honestly, in every single podcast that we do about retail, I think we talk about the change of the behavior, the different generations, right? We want to talk about the boomers, the Zs, the etc., the millennials. I think that's already an old kind of discussion, within 2 years. But artificial intelligence certainly is going to be changing our lives. So I dare you to be here maybe in a couple, 3 years to see if everything you have seen happening right now, is it really happening? And
it's a good game, and I would be very pleased to be here. And if you invite me again, I would be very pleased to comment. And it would be funny to see what's happened or not.
Yeah. No, but I'm sure at least 50-60% of what you said is going to be happening, because of course is what we see clearly happening. But I'm sure the other will also happen, but maybe in a different way. You never know, because the way that this technology is changing, the way that I think retail is one of the verticals which is really exploded in many different directions, right? So it's going to be interesting. So thank you very much. Merci, Romain. And
Thank you,
we hope to see you very soon.
See you.
Thank
Thanks
you
a lot.